Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to this online session on Windows Server 2019 administration. In this session, we are going to deploy a lab on Module 1. That is my lab scenario. So, in this, I'm going to use three servers. So, my first server is domain controller, Windows Server 2019 domain controller DC, where I have installed ADDS and DNS. So ADDS and DNS both are installed and configured on this server already. So second machine would be my member server, which would be member 2019, correct? And these are the IP address configurations which I have used in my scenario. And there would be a server which we are going to provision here, which would be core server core 2019. So I will show you how to install and configure core 2019, how you will join domain, and then how you will add both servers and servers which would be in your network, so that you can do remote management. So how you will do remote management, what would be the prerequisite to do the remote management, everything I will show you one by one, correct? So, and for my core server, this would be the configuration which I'm going to use for this lab. And for step by step lab configuration, I already have a documentation which I will share in my link. So you can check this documentation in link, and you can download, and you all can perform this lab on your system as well. If there would be any issue or any requirement, so you can write your requirement into comment section, and I will definitely help you to provision this lab. So now let's start. So let me show you. I'm using here VMware Workstation, where I have created three VMs. So one is my domain controller DC. Let me show you this server. So let's try to sign in on this server. So my domain name is Contoso, which I'm going to use here. So officially Microsoft is using contoso.com in their lab demonstration. So that's why I'm using here Contoso, so that you all can understand easily. Or if you need to deploy, if you are going to deploy a Microsoft official lab, so that you can easily understand lab on Microsoft as well. So that is my server DC. Let me sign into my member server as well. Member server, where I do not have any roles and features on this server. So we will set up this server later. So now what I'm going to do here, you can see on my DC computer, and that is my DNS configuration, where I have one record, one host record for my domain controller, and there would be one host record for my member server as well, which is SEA ADM, that means admin server. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to set up my core server. So first of all, we'll do lab for core server. So we are going to install and configure core server. That is my hardware requirement for my core server, and then we'll connect this core server to our DC, to our network, and then we'll join this core server into domain. So I will show you how you will do all these things, and then how you will remotely manage all the servers from your admin server, correct? So now let's do one thing. Let's start this server, power on this server, and we need to press any key to boot from the ISO. Now press enter for enabling your setup. So your setup file, your boot file will be loaded into your system in memory, and then setup will be start. So setup is similar to all Windows, Microsoft Windows, the client and server setup. It is similar to like that. So you need to choose your language, your time zone, your keyboard method. So which language you are going to use for your keyboard. So let me click on next. We are going with the default right now, and then click on install now. So here you need to provide your product key. If you are using evaluation version, so no need to provide key. Here you can click on I don't have a product key, and then later you can provide key to your server. Now these are the additions which we have right now in this ISO uh, image. So we have standard core and desktop, and we have data center core and desktop. So as we have to install core, and we are using here a server image. So we are going with Windows Server 2019 data center core image. So if you have to install GUI, then you need to select desktop experience in that case. So I'm going with core data center. So select and click on next, or default option would be core standard. So if you are going with next and install, so by default installation would be standard core server. So you need to accept license term, then click on next. Now two options we have. One is upgrade, so that means you are going to do in place upgrade. In that case, if you have already Windows Server 2016 or Server 2012, so you will click on upgrade. Or if you are doing a fresh installation, that means clean installation, so you will go with custom. So I'm going with custom. You can do partitions of your hard drive. Right now we have one hard drive which is 60 GB, so I'm not going to do any partition. I will use this drive for my boot volume. So click on next, and now installation process will be start, and you would be able to see the progress of your installation of Windows Server Core. So it will take 3 to 5 minutes to install core server. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pause my session. So once this would be installed, we will set up this server. So now our server is ready. So we are going to set up this core server. So first of all, we need to sign in, and we have to provide a password, login password to this server. So which I'm going to set here. So password is changed for our user. Now let's do one thing. Let's sign in to log into your server. So on core server, you will get by default a command prompt, and you have to manage your server through command or through PowerShell. So anytime you can switch to PowerShell. So you need to type here PowerShell, and then you will be switched to PowerShell. So in that case, you have to have knowledge of PowerShell commandlets, or you have to have knowledge of CMD. So for basic configuration, now let me click on exit. So whenever you will type exit, you will be back to your command prompt. Now you will switch back to your command prompt, and now if you have knowledge of commands, you will be able to manage your server. So for basic configuration of this core server, we have a tool here which is known as sconfig. So you can type here sconfig, and then you will get a options here. Sconfig will be open here, and you will get options here. So you need to select your option. So like if you need to change domain and workgroup status, so you will select number 1. So if you need to change computer name, you will select here number 2. So if you have to do network settings, so you will select number 8 here. So let me show you a network setting. So I'm going to change my network setting here as per my lab scenario. So if there would be multiple NIC cards associated to your virtual machine or to your server, so you will get here all NIC and indexes, which would be unique index for your all NIC cards. So right now I have only one NIC card, so an index number is 1. So if there would be multiple, you need to select, you need to specify index number of your NIC which you want to change, which you are going to manage through sconfig. So I am going to manage my index number 1, and then these are the settings which you can do for your NIC card. So let me change my IP address. So what would be the option? Option would be DHCP, or it could be a static IP address. So I'm going with static configuration, and manually I will specify my IP address for this server. So which would be 172.16.10.15. As per my lab scenario, I'm going to set this IP address for this virtual machine, and this would be my subnet mask 255.255.255.0. So this would be subnet mask for my server default gateway. So I'm going to use here 172.16.10.1. This would be my default gateway. Now let me change my DNS address as well. So we need to press 2 here, and then we need to enter our DNS address, which would be my DC's address, domain controller's address 10.10. So this would be my DNS. I do not have any alternate DNS, so I need to press blank enter here. Now this NIC card configuration is done. So we need to press here 4 to return into main menu. Then we need to press 15 from exit. So you will be exit from your sconfig. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you how you will change your computer name through PowerShell, and how you will change your domain status, or how you will join this system into domain through PowerShell. So let me run here PowerShell. So we are going to switch to PowerShell. So we are switched to PowerShell right now. So for renaming computer, there is a command rename hyphen computer. Press tab. So then we need to specify here new name. So new name, as per my scenario, I'm going to use this name SEASVR4. So this would be my computer name. Then a restart is required. Whenever you will change your computer name or domain status, you have to restart your server. Then restart and force. So once this would be done, forcefully it will restart your system, your VM. So press enter and your virtual machine will be restarted. So as my VM is restarted here, so now let's wait for a few seconds. Once this would be done, we'll join this VM into domain. So now log in into your system, and now we are going to add this computer into domain. So through PowerShell, I'm going to do this as well. So command is add hyphen computer, then space hyphen domain name. Domain name in my case, that is Contoso. Then you need to specify your credentials. So in my case, my domain is contoso.com, and I have to specify my credentials of domain. So which would be Contoso admin administrator. Then space hyphen restart is required. Then space hyphen force. So whenever you will press enter, it will ask password for this user, whatever credentials you have specified here. So for this credential, it will ask password. So press enter. You need to specify your password as well. Once this will be done, your VM will be restart, and this system will be added into domain. So you can verify this configuration from domain controller as well, from your DNS. So right now in my DNS, I have two records. So when my machine will be added into domain, so you would be able to get a record here once this would be done. So we need to refresh our DNS server. So here we will get a record, host a record, SEA-SVR4. So that record is added here, or you can verify from your Active Directory users and computers tab. So you need to open Active Directory and users and computer, and from computers tab you would be able to see all the member, all the domain joined computer. So you need to click on computers. So here you can see there are two computers who have joined domain, so ADM and SVR4. That is done by us. So that is the way to install and configure PoreServer. So this lab is done. Now we are going to perform second lab, which would be implementing remote server administration. So for this, first of all, we need to prepare our DC and our admin server. So just because whenever you are going to add or manage a server remotely, you should enable WinRM service. And if you are going to use PowerShell Direct, so you need to enable PS remoting as well. So through the PowerShell, you would be able to manage your system through remotely from other system in your network. So first of all, I am going on my DC computer. Here you can see domain controller where I'm going to enable WinRM and PS remoting. So let me open my PowerShell window here. So first of all, we are going to enable PS remoting. So for enabling PS remoting, you need to run here command enable hyphen PS remoting. PS remoting, then space hyphen force, press enter. So PS remoting will be enabled here. Then we need to enable WinRM service. So before enabling WinRM, you need to verify that WinRM is running or not on your system. So WinRM service you can use here get hyphen service WinRM. Okay, and for enabling WinRM, what you can do, you can run here set hyphen service, then space hyphen so your service name, sorry, so which would be WinRM Windows Remote Management Service. Then you need to specify here your switch, which would be start mode. Start mode would be automatic, and this would be start. So your service would be start through this command. So now WinRM is started. So now you need to add your host into trusted host. So the host which are going to manage the server through remotely. So you need to add that server into trusted host. So what I'm going to do here right now, I'm going to set all the hosts and in trusted list. That means I'm going to allow all the hosts as a trusted host. So for this, there is a command which is set hyphen item and then space. You need to specify here ws man, then column localhost. So localhost slash client, then slash trusted host, trusted host, and then space hyphen value. What would be the value of your trusted host? So you can specify any computer name who would be your trusted host, or you can specify here a wildcard. That means all the systems are known as a trusted host. So you need to confirm this operation. Press Y. So that is done. So you can now you can access this domain controller from other servers from your network, and then you can manage the server remotely as well from your different servers, member servers in your network. So now let me switch to my admin center where I have already enabled all these features. So on my member server, everything is already configured here for WinRM. Now enabling WinRM in your firewall, so you can use port number 5985 or 5986. So 5985 is for HTTP and 5986 for HTTPS. Now, if you want to verify your remote management, so what you can do, you can use here enter PS session. So that is the command for managing your servers remotely through PowerShell through PS remoting. So enter PS session space hyphen computer name. Then you need to specify your computer name, which would be SEA hyphen DC1 in my case. So you can specify your computer name or your FPDN. That is totally up to you. Press enter. So you can see I am switched to my system, my server, which is my domain controller, and now I can manage my domain controller through PowerShell. Correct. So that I can do from my this server, my member server. As this server is added into my domain in trusted host and PS remoting is enabled. So what I can do, I can manage this server remotely. Now let me show you. There would be a service get hyphen service. So I'm going to verify a service on my domain controller, which is app ID SVC. Now press enter. So this service, application identity service, is stopped right now on my domain controller. So you can verify this on your domain PC as well. So let's switch to your domain PC and let me clear my PowerShell screen. And if we will run this command here, get hyphen service, then space hyphen name, which will be app ID SVC. So you can see that is stopped here. Now I'm going to start this service from my member computer. So from this system, I'm going to start this service. So for starting any service in your system, there's a command start hyphen service and space hyphen name, service name, which would be app ID SVC. Press enter. So the service is started on your DC computer. Now let's verify from your DC computer. So run again that command get hyphen service. So you can see now that is the service is running here. So that means we can remotely manage our server through PowerShell, correct? Through WinRM. Now I am going to show you how we are going to manage the server through Windows Admin Center. So Windows Admin Center is a web-based utility through which we can manage our all servers remotely through web. So which is a new feature which that is added into your server 2019. So for this we have to install a tool here, which is Windows Admin Center. So you can download this tool. So I have already downloaded. Now let me bring that tool on my VM from my local system. So let me map my local system's drive here, folder here. So let me open my share folder here and let me run my Windows Admin Center. So which would be in 2019 folder. Yeah. So there is a Windows Admin Center 2007 which I'm going to run and install here. So latest package is also available. MSI package is also available. Windows Admin Center 1910, which is the latest version, which you can install and configure. So right now I'm going with this. So let's run this on your system. And there's a folder extension packages which I have downloaded from Microsoft website. So what you can do, whatever extensions you want to install on your remote servers, so you need to download all these extensions into your local system, and then you have to bring or browse these extensions into your admin center. So let me copy all these packages and I have to paste into my local drive. So I'm going to paste into my C drive. Let me rename this folder, which would be my module 1 folder, and let's paste all these packages here. Now let's go to admin center setup. So you need to accept the license agreement, click on next. So right now I'm not going to enable any update just because internet connectivity is not on my system. So click on next, next, and we are going with the default configuration here. So next, next, what it will do, it will generate a self-signed certificate for your Windows admin. As I told you, this would be open into a web browser. So you need to enable, you need to run with 443 and it will generate a SSL certificate, self-signed certificate for your web browser. So what I'm going to do here, just because we need to access this and on our Internet Explorer or in our browser. So for better manageability purpose, I'm going to install here Google Chrome. So for this, I am going to pause my session for 5 minutes, and then once this would be done, I'll start my session. So Google Chrome is installed on my member server where I have installed Admin Center. So once your Admin Center will be installed on your system and you have a valid browser, so as Internet Explorer is revoked by Microsoft and we are using Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome, or you can install any other browser as well. So how you will access your Admin Center? So you need to type here https colon slash slash your server name, which is in my case SEA-ADM1 admin1. So I think this would be admin only, ADM1, ADM only. Yeah, so that is ADM only here. Now do one thing, press enter. So what it will do, it will redirect you to Admin Center, Windows Admin Center. So you can see here Windows Admin Center is will be open here. Now you can, so it's a web-based utility, so that means you can manage your all servers through this Windows Admin Center. Okay, so you can see here there is a Cloud Shell as well, there is a PowerShell as well, through which you can run your PowerShell scripts as well through this Windows Admin Center. You can manage your all servers which would be in your network. And for HCI, so you can manage a hyper converged infrastructure where you can manage your all cloud infrastructure. You can integrate your servers, server 2019 servers with your Azure cloud as well. So that means you can take backup, you can enable backup DR, and you can associate a NIC card to your VM, so which would be in Azure. So that means a hybrid kind of connectivity you can enable through this Windows Admin Center, and you would be able to manage your virtualized infrastructure, which would be a HCI infrastructure, where you have a hyperconverged environment infrastructure. So that's why this Admin Center is more important whenever you're going to manage your servers remotely and you have a cloud resources as well for your infrastructure. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to add our servers which is in our network, like our domain controller and our core server here on Windows Admin Center. So let me click on add. So from here you would be able to add your server clusters, your Windows PCs, that means client PCs, and your servers which you want to manage through this Windows Admin Center. So let me add my servers. So you can do Active Directory search, or you can type your server name here. So I'm going to type my server name, which would be SEADC1. First of all, I'm going to add my domain controller. So now we are going to add this. So click on add. So this would be added here. So now I'm going to add my core server. So name of core server is SEA-SVR4. So you need to type your server name, and what it will do, it will search your server if this would be accessible in your network. Or you have, if you have a list of servers, so you can import your CSV list here, and you would be able to add those servers here in bulk. So click on add. So this would be also added here. So now what we need to do, we need to enable extensions. So extensions for managing your resources, like your web server, IAS, DNS, DSCP, ADDS. So for managing all these features remotely, you need to enable extensions. Okay, so these extensions you can download from Microsoft site and then you can bring into your admin center. So as I have already downloaded and I have created a folder into C drive where my extensions are added. So now how you will add your extensions on this Windows admin center. So you need to click on settings tab, and here you can see you can connect your Azure account as well with this Windows admin center, and there is a tab extensions. So you need to click on extensions. So you will get the list of available extensions. So right now there is no extensions are available. So if there would be a internet connectivity on this server, so it will update all the extensions here. But as per the compliance rule, we are not going to enable internet on this server, so we need to manually install the extensions which are required. Correct. So there's a feeds tab. You need to go to feeds and you need to click on add. So if you see this URL, from this URL, it will check all the extensions if there would be internet connectivity. Right now, we do not have any internet connectivity on this server. So we need to provide a manual path, a local path here. So click on add and you need to specify that path. So let me go to my browser, my file explorer, and this would be the path for my extensions. So let me copy this path. So copy this path and just go back to your browser, specify, click on add. So this would be added as a feed. So from this path, it will check all the extensions. The server will check all the extensions. Now what you need to do, you need to go to available extensions tab. So you would be able to see, it will take few seconds. So once this would be done, you would be able to see all the extensions which are available here. So let's wait for a few seconds. So I have refreshed my browser and you would be able to see these are the extensions which are available. So for IS management, for DNS, for DSCP, for ADDS, all these extensions you can download from Microsoft site, and then you can specify your path for your extensions into feeds. So and then you would be able to see all the extensions here into available extensions. Now extension which you need to enable for your server, let me show you. So let me go back to my server manager and let me switch to my DC1, and from a left hand side from this tool pan you can see now these are the services which are available. And for this DC1, what I can do, I can see the overview. I will get the all metrics like task manager. So similar to task manager, I will get here all the metrics which I can see here. This is the basic configuration, that is my server detail which I'm getting here, which I can verify from here. So now you can see Azure hybrid services. So I can connect this server to Azure cloud and then I can do the hybrid connectivity. So and I can enable Azure backup as well, so I can take backup of this VM on Azure. So right now there's no internet connectivity, so we are not going to perform this. We can enable Azure file sync as well. So if there would be file servers, so which we want to connect with Azure file share, and then we can enable file syncing as well. For this we have already I have already uploaded a video in my Azure playlist, Azure administration playlist, so you can check how to enable and configure Azure file sync through Azure cloud. So all those things you can do from here as well. Now just because Windows Server 2019 is a cloud ready server, so you can do a hybrid connectivity easily through Windows admin center, and don't need to go to your Azure portal. So Azure Monitor you can enable, through which you will be able to monitor your servers, your on-premises servers, and you can store your logs into Log Analytic Workspace as well. Azure Security Center is there. So if you are using any compliance regularity through which you would be able to manage, and you would be able to see the your compliance report. So the ports and the services which you need to enable or disable for uh, for your compliance. strategy for compliance rules. So all those recommendations you will get through Azure Security Center. Certificates, device, events, files, firewall, installed apps, so applications which is installed on the system. So local users and groups, networks, performance monitor, PowerShell, processes, registry, remote desktop, roles and features, and scheduled task. Everything is there. You can see storage migration service is also a service which is introduced into Windows Server 2019. So if you have legacy storage services which you can migrate to your, so previously we are not able to migrate our storage on server. So right now you can migrate your storage as well to Server 2019. So which I will show you in my other module. Storage replica is there, system insights is there, and updates. You can manage your updates as well through Windows Admin Center. So right now that means now we can more granularly we can manage our server configuration through Windows Admin Center with web based accessibility. So that means if this is a web based accessibility and this Windows Admin Center we can access through a web, so we can open on our any server in Windows based network on browser. On any server you only need to give the URL and you would be able to, if you are authenticated user, it will ask user ID and password, and then you have to provide that user ID and password for this admin center, and you would be able to manage your resources from anywhere. So manageability is very easy by introducing this Windows Admin Center. So if you see here, we do not have DNS, as DNS is installed on my DC1, but in tools we do not have a DNS tab. So how we will get DNS tab here? So that tab you will get through extensions. That is called extensions. So for managing DNS, ADDS, DSCP, IAS, so whatever roles you have installed on your server and you need to manage all those services from Windows Admin Center, you require extension. So I'm going to show you how we will get this DNS tool here. So we need to go to again settings, then we need to go to extensions, and here we have. So this would be done in few seconds or in few minutes. So we need to wait for this. So now extension is successfully installed and your browser is refreshed here. So you will get your extension into installed extensions tab. And what it will do now in available extensions, it will fetch all the extensions from that AKS from this feed. Correct. And whatever extensions would be available for your server, all would be added here. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to see that DNS tab into our DC1. So we need to switch to DC1. And you would be able to see here DNS as well. So yeah, there is a DNS tab which is added here. So if you will search from here, you will get DNS. So you need to go to DNS tab. And now you can manage your DNS as well from this Windows Admin Center. So you can see these are your zones. So you can open your zones and you can verify your records which is added into your zone. So these are the records. You can create new records, you can delete record. So you don't need to switch to your DC computer and you can manage your DC computer from here as well. If you have to install any roles and features on this DC computer, so there is a tab roles and features. You need to go to roles and features. Let me select roles and features tab. And then click on unit. So these are the available roles and features. So you will get all the roles and features here for your server. Now whatever role and feature you want to enable, so you have to select that feature, and features which are not installed, they would be available here in state, and which would be installed, so you will see here that is installed. So let me select here telnet client, which I'm going to install here. So you need to select telnet and then you need to click on install. So this telnet client will be installed on your system. So similarly you can enable any role and any feature to your server, DC1 server. So that is totally up to you, and this would be also installed. So that means we are doing remote management. So you can do remote management through PowerShell, through priest remoting, or you can do remote management through Windows Admin Center as well. So we will use this Windows Admin Center in detail in our different scenarios, different modules, so where we can do lots of work through this remote Windows Admin Center. Now, so as Telnet is installed on our server, if you need to enable your remote desktop connectivity, so you need to go to settings, and from there you would be able to select a remote setting. Let me check. So we need to switch back to our server manager, and from there we can set up our remote desktop. There is a remote desktop tab. From tools you will get here remote desktop, and from here you would be able to enable remote desktop or RDP settings, which you can change from here. So go to settings. So here you can see remote desktop. So you can do this from here, or you can scroll down from here, and there is a settings tab from where you would be able to do the settings of your this server. So remote desktop is there. You need to go to remote desktop and allow remote connection to this computer. Click on save. RDP would be enabled for this server. So now that is the lab. We are done with our lab configuration, and we have already performed lab task for module 1, for which is server administration. So that's how you would be able to manage your servers remotely, locally, how you can create and configure your core server that we have done in this lab. So if now just do this practice for step-by-step configuration, I will share a document file in the description section, so where you will get a link to download that file, and you will be able to download that file from there. Now there's one more thing which you need to remember. So the scenario which I have shown you, so you have to configure that scenario, just because whatever steps are there, all the steps are available as per that scenario. Now on your core server you can install features on demand as well. So for installing features on demand on your core server, what you need to do, those steps are also available into my step-by-step documentation. So you need to download a ISO from Microsoft MSDN portal, so which would be a FOD, feature on demand ISO, and which you need to mount here on your system, and then you can install features on demand as well. Like you need some GUI tool similar to Task Manager, Explorer.exe, which is not available on your core server. Let me show you. So if you will run here explorer.exe, so which is not available here. Okay, now you need explorer.exe. So what you can do, you can install this through feature on demand, so which is available separately in a ISO, which is known as feature on demand ISO, which you have to download and you need to mount on this system, and you would be able to run whatever features you require for this core server. So we are done with this lab, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching my videos. Bye bye.